All right, everybody. Thank you so much for bearing with us. This is super exciting. What we have here is our four-way Pokemon squad draft. So I want to take a little bit of time at the beginning. This is going to be kind of a wild experiment where I'm going to introduce everybody, and people are going to talk a little bit about what their background is with Pokemon, and then we'll talk about kind of the structure of the draft and how we decide who wins. Because we all know drafting is the only fun part of fantasy sports, and that's the part that we're going to play into right now. So let's start. We'll start in the right above me. We have Devin's hands melt, and I need to make sure I spell that right. I misspelled it on your thing. But Devin, tell me a little about your history with Pokemon, because you were very excited when you were invited to do this.
I was, yeah. So my history with Pokemon is, it goes way back. I will say I'm not currently playing a lot of the new games, right? So my history with Pokemon is like a very childhood based thing where I really, really love the trading card game. I really, really love the TV show, and also the early Game Boy games. It's kind of my favorite thing in the world. But yeah, I think probably trading card game. I remember, playing and trading cards not playing in the bathroom at school, but trading the trading cards in the bathroom at school, because we weren't allowed to have them, and then also just like playing them in class when we play War with them as well as the full game. I think at first all of us just liked, the idea of the card. So we play War. In other words, you'd have the HP and the attacks, and you kind of do one for one for one for one, and then just be done with it. But yeah, I'd say that was primarily what it was, and I really just loved it. And like we would play it in high school. We would bring all of our cards to high school and things like that. But yeah, so I I'm one of those really annoying people who really am traditional about like the 151, like one of those like insufferable awful people that everyone hates. That's me, but it's not because I'm an asshole. It's more just because I haven't, like, my learning about Pokemon stopped in like 8th grade, and so now I'm just like really committed to the bit, I think. Yeah.
So something I learned that was really interesting yesterday. It was maybe like 2016 or 2017. The Pokemon trading card game is still going, by the way, it turns out. And
Yeah.
because I know you said that was like your big draw to it, was that
Right.
first set of Pokemon cards. They
Yeah.
reprinted the entire first set, but they
Cool.
updated it to be like for the new card templates, but it's all the same art and stuff. It looked really cool. It was very nostalgic to look at that.
That is really cool. Yeah, because I remember my nephew. He brought his cards over. This was like a couple months ago, and I brought my cards as well. And we were playing at my parents' house, and I had the original cards.
Yeah.
He had the new ones, and it turns out like their HP goes well above 120 these
It
days.
goes way higher, yeah. So they scaled all the numbers up, and it's really cool.
Yeah, because this guy, I got absolutely wrecked by my 8-year-old nephew. So
Oh, that's great. Awesome.
yeah.
So now we'll go to my left, over here, Shelby Lee. Shelby, I'm really excited that you're doing this with us. You have strong opinions on Pokemon.
I have such strong opinions about Pokemon, and it was really, really, really hard to get to the list of the ones that I liked, but I have extremely strong opinions about all of them, and I can't wait to share them. I played Pokemon when I was a kid, so I had the red one,
Mm.
and I collected all the trading cards. I played I think I played Gold, and like a couple here and there. I did the Let's Go Eevee, and then I just recently played Sword and Shield, which I absolutely loved. But I have extremely strong opinions about
Yeah.
all of the Pokemon that I've picked, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Did you ever play Pokemon Snap?
No, I didn't. And I was so mad. I played it at a Blockbuster one time and I always wanted it,
Yeah.
but I never got it. And I'm so, because I would have loved Pokemon Snap. I played
Yeah.
Pokemon Stadium though.
With like a little
That game's
printer where
amazing.
you could print off the pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
That was-
Are you trying to like make me jealous right now? Like, are you? I wanted to play Pokemon Snap so badly. I don't know why I never did.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just never got it.
So Pokemon Snap is a crazy game. It is the perfect Pokemon game for you.
For sure.
I remember very vividly, there's a level in that game where you're like in a river, right? It's like towards the very end of the game.
Yep.
And there's 2 exits to it, and you need to go through the secret exit to get to the last level. And I couldn't figure out how to do it. And the answer for how to do it came to me in a dream.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And I woke up the next morning and I tried it out and it worked. And I was like, what? You gotta get that Mankey to press the switch just like I dreamed? That was crazy. So that's my Pokemon Snap experience. It was kind of life-shaking.
Yeah. That's awesome.
All right, and then in the top corner, we got Colby, Ace Trainer Colby, who was the first person I thought of when I wanted to put this together, someone who I knew would be super duper excited about it. And Colby, from what I understand, as we've talked about this leading up to it, you put a lot of work into this already.
I have my top 24 Pokemon because there's a max number of 24 slots here, right? I've got natures, I've got moves, I know base stats, I know who, stat totals. I've got it all. I know balanced teams. It's you guys are in for, I want to say a treat, but it's going to be a treat for me, not necessarily.
It sounds positively insufferable, Colby.
Yeah, and I got my start in Pokemon. It's funny, in first grade, there was this kid who, the first memory I have of him is, you're in first grade, you're trying to, get attention. He just puts glue in his hair, and he's like, look at me, I'm putting glue in my hair. He thought the cap was on. And I was like, I'm never being that guy's friend. He's weird. Well, after, like, the day or something, me and him were, like, sitting outside of our like classroom, and they were playing Pokemon, and he was teaching me Pokemon. We became best friends. It was crazy, and just from that, it was just a downward spiral into me just shoveling money over to Nintendo. So it was, I've done red, I did blue, I did silver and crystal, I did sapphire. Never played emerald, but I've like hit every generation except for like Black and White 2 and the Alola one. I missed out on Hawaii, and I missed out on Kalos too. I don't know which one that was.
I think that was X and Y.
Sword and Shield late, here recently, as you know, because I'm still into all of your stuff that I can. Yeah, that's. I did do some of the like card collecting. I never played with the cards because I was that meticulous kid. It's like, oh, they got to be in mint condition. Like I still had a holographic Machamp still in the thing, never touched. I don't have any more because of course I don't. All of that stuff is gone.
You don't? I think I have mine like right here.
Yeah, I have mine. They're in a box over there.
I still have so many Pokemon cards, and they're all on the little plastic protective sleeves.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will say, Colby, oh, there it is. Colby, the Machamp card was always like near and dear to my heart because that was like the one that came with like the box starter set.
Right.
It was like my first holographic. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember.
I made this with the Pokemon like graphics editor.
Yeah.
I 100% thought that was that design that's like on that typical 90s design that's like always on the like sides of like the paper water cups, that like squiggly like the Pop-Tart thing. I thought that's what that was. I didn't realize that was the actual like Pokemon.
Oh man. Yeah, so I've been a fan of Pokemon since it first came to the US. I remember I was in a media play before they all went bankrupt. And there was an advertisement for, like, in the video game section. I went to check that out. And it was just, like, crazy. I was like, my mind was blown because there was, like, this anime thing, and then it was spliced with this gameplay. And I was like, my head was spinning. And I was like, all right, I know we're going to come back to this media play in 2 weeks. I'm going to do whatever I can to have $30 2 weeks from now to buy this game. So I got to figure out what this is all about. Yeah. And I did. I like went around my house and like found every quarter and like dime I could and put it all together. And then that was kind of it. I mean, it became like a month later, it just became an explosive thing at my school. We got all into the cards. The cards got banned from the school. It was great. I collected the cards. I wanted to play the cards, but nobody else wanted to play the cards, so I only collected them. Then gold and silver were probably my favorites. Those were the ones I got most into because by that point the craze was at its peak, and everybody had, like literally everybody had it, no matter if you played video games or not. You had Pokemon Gold and Silver, or Red and Blue, or Yellow even at that point, and that was huge.
Oh, yeah.
And then I did play a little bit of Ruby and Sapphire, and then I took a break for a while, and then I got Platinum, and Platinum was awesome. And then I didn't play for like several sets of games until the Alolan ones, until Ultra Sun, and that was pretty cool. It kind of got me back into it because I've always been tangentially interested, like on the periphery, in competitive Pokemon battling. Has been really interesting, but it turns out it's a lot of work, so I don't really do it. And that seems to have gotten, like, the barrier to entry for that has gotten lower and lower with each generation, to where it is now in Sword and Shield. It seems to be very low. So haven't done it still too high for me, but interested. So I wanted to put this together, and I'm going to model this after one of my favorite podcasts. It's called All Fantasy Everything. And what they do is they do just the draft part of a fantasy league. And so here's where we're going to get into the rules so everybody understands what we're doing and we're crystal clear on what's happening. We get 6 picks. Each person gets 6 picks, and we're going to do it in a serpentine draft, right? That means that if you go first in the first round, you're going 4th in the second round. It keeps it kind of the most fair, right? So we're going to kind of figure out how to snake around. I'll let you guys decide who goes first. We'll probably play rock, paper, scissors, and the winner gets to pick the order. That's fine with me.
Okay.
Step 2, rule number 2 about this, and this is an important one. This is somewhat of a controversial one too. There is only 1 pick per evolutionary line. So if Colby picks Squirtle, I can't pick Blastoise, right? If Colby picks Alolan Meowth, Devin can't pick regular Meowth, right? Any forms, any of that stuff, you're picking, when you pick a Pokemon, you're picking all the versions of that Pokemon there are. So if you're picking a Pokemon that uses items to transform or has regional variants, you're picking all of them. And then what we're going to do, after we've drafted the whole list, we're going to post the teams on Twitter. We're going to make a Twitter poll, and we're just going to let the world vote for what team they like the most, and that person's going to be the winner. It's going to be super fun. And the 4th and most important rule, have fun, y'all.
Got it.
Have fun, y'all. All right, so
Yeah.
what we're gonna do, we're gonna do, we'll just have you guys play rock, paper, scissors, and
Yes.
whoever wins gets to decide the order. So you guys do. I'll sit out as the host. I will abstain, and I'll let you
Okay.
guys do it.
Quick suggestion. Instead of rock, paper, scissors, can we do fire, water, grass?
We can do fire,
my
water,
God.
grass. I think that's very on theme.
Same symbols?
Yeah,
What-
same. Yeah, I don't
what's
know.
this?
Wait, how are you gonna explain this?
Yeah. Fire.
Yeah,
This is
it'll
just
be very
fire.
interpretive.
My fire sign is very similar to my water sign.
Maybe it's like water drop, leaf, right? And you get the little leaf, and then what? Fire.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
look, it's really up to you guys to figure this part out.
Okay. Got it.
All right. Well, we go on shoot. Ready?
Yeah, well, yeah. Kevin, why don't you read us off?
We'll go on shoot. Okay, ready?
Okay.
Fire, water, grass, shoot.
Oh.
All,
Oh wow.
all whatever scissors was. Okay.
That was yeah.
That
All right,
was
ready?
Grass, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fire, water, grass, shoot.
No.
What are you goons doing? All right.
This is great.
If you guys all tie again, I'm picking.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Fire, water, grass, shoot.
Hey, Shelby won.
All right,
Did
Shelby.
I win?
Shelby wins. So Shelby,
Oh,
you-
perfect.
You
If
get
we
to
do
pick the
fire,
order.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It changes
Okay.
the rules. That's right. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to go in the reverse S. So S.
you want
So
to
I
go?
wanted to go me, you, Colby, Devin.
Okay, so you're gonna go first. That puts wait, okay, so it's got the most confusing order. You, me, Colby, and then Devin.
No, it's not. It's a regular S on the screen.
So Shelby, Kevin, Colby.
Colby,
Devin.
Devin. And then
It
it's
rhymes.
an S. So it's
Just
Okay.
remember your number.
We can do that.
It's an S for Shelby.
Colby, you're 3, I'm 2, Shelby's 1, and Devin is number 4.
Got it.
Whew. Alright. Sounds good. So, Shelby, I think I know you really
Oh.
wanted this. I know you wanted to go first.
Thank God.
So, before we go any further, Shelby? Who's that Pokemon? Who are you picking? Oh,
Oh.
it's not this guy.
Wait, am I waiting for you to
No,
do
you can
something?
go. Tell me who you're
I
picking.
can go? Okay. So this Pokemon. Oh, should I? I'm gonna. What is that?
That was Melmetal. I need an image to test it out. I hope you're not picking
Oh.
Melmetal. That was the one I used to test it.
I'm not picking
Hey,
that
so
one.
Shelby just said Melmetal, right? So
I
that's-
didn't say Melmetal. No,
Alright.
I don't pick Melmetal. I hate
Kevin, it's your
Melmetal.
turn. Kevin,
I
it's your
hate that
turn.
one.
I needed
Okay.
a Pokemon to test to make it sure I had the dimensions right. He's the last one in the Pokedex. That was the one I picked.
So
Regardless.
this is this one. Here, wait. Am I ready? Can I go?
You're ready, yes.
Okay, I'm ready. So this is the only Pokemon that, and I know that I'm saying it in the only right way, and everyone disagrees with me. So this is the only Pokemon that I fell in love with at first sight, and I was originally like, before I like started playing, because again I was like, I played like Pokemon Red and I wasn't even good at it. My cousin had to beat it for me. And so I played Sword and Shield, and this is where I first saw this Pokemon. And I don't think that this is the generation they're from, but I saw this Pokemon and I fell in love. And my number one pick, and I know I should probably pick Sylveon because I also really like Sylveon, and someone else is going to take someone from the Eevee line. But my number one Pokemon, because no one else could pick it, is Pidove.
Is Pidove, of course.
Pidove. Can you show a picture of Pidove?
Yeah, give me a second. I had to wait for you to tell me what the Pokemon was so I could search for it on the.
How did you not know my number one Pokemon was going to be Pidove?
I had to. There
I
we
don't
go.
think anyone could have guessed that, Shelby. Pidove is
I-
bullshit.
I cannot believe you can't guess that.
So Pidove. So
Alright.
tell us, what was it about Pidove that made you fall in love with Pidove?
So, the thing that made me fall in love with Pidove, first of all, is that it's just a regular bird.
Right.
That's just like Pidove is just a bird. That's just a pigeon. That is the only Pokemon, or not, maybe not one of the only Pokemon, but one of the only Pokemon that you're like, oh wait, no, that's not. Dude, that's not a Pokemon. That's just a bird. You just
Right.
got a pigeon and called it a Pokemon.
Right.
But look at how happy he is. Oh, and he loves it. And I only found this out later. And this is I feel like everybody's got like little backstories and like stats about their Pokemon and like abilities or descriptions. This is the only one I know, and I like kind of stumbled upon it, but it has the most incredible flavor text where it's like something about like friendship. Oh, where is it? Where friendship. Someone look it up who's not me, but it's like, oh, this is just a friendly Pokemon who wants a friend. And I love Pidove, and this was my like OG, like effectively replaced my starter in Sword and Shield and helps me like defeat like God or whatever. I guess it wasn't God.
Yeah,
in Sword
I
and
have
Shield.
on my phone. You sent me a text. It was Pidove fighting Eternius, and the caption on the text was Pidove is gonna kill God.
Yeah. So anyways, Pidove is my favorite Pokemon that I've ever had in my entire life, and I love him so much. And I think I had something else to say, but I forgot just because I like Pidove a lot.
Oh, here's.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so I get what you're saying about it. It's just a regular bird, and then you of course have like like Farfetch'd has a leak, Psyduck has the headaches, stuff like this, right? But like, so why Pidove besides being cooler over like something like Pidgey, for instance?
Shelby freeze or
Did we lose Shelby? Or does she not have an answer?
that was too hard of a question.
It was
Devin.
it was such
too
a good
much.
question.
It was too much.
She's just shocked. Look at her. Look at her face.
Oh, whoops.
She's never even thought of that before.
That wasn't a call out. I was just curious.
Oh. I have to leave this maximized. There we go. Well, while we're trying to figure out what happened to Shelby, I will read. When she dropped from the call. Oh no, my overlay only works if there's 4 people in the call. Here's the Pokedex entry for Pidove from Pokemon Shield. It's forgetful and not very bright. but many trainers love it anyway for its friendliness and its sincerity.
Okay, that's the answer right there. That's why it's better than Pidgey. I agree with Shelby.
Now, if you were to catch a Pidove in Pokemon Sword and read its Pokedex entry, it would say, wherever people go, these Pokemon follow. If you scatter food for them, be careful. Several hundred of them may gather at once.
Oh, wow.
So, very different Pokedex entry depending on what version of the game you're playing.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Hey.
Well, without any further ado then, I'll make my pick, and I did a lot of research on this, trying to think of how I wanted to get this set up, and I'm also trying to manipulate the overlay at the same time. There's got to be a better way to do this.
Yeah. Am I doing anything wrong, or is it just messed my video up because of Shelby?
It's because Shelby dropped from the call, so we'll figure out how to get her back. No,
Well,
I'm trying to figure out how to make my pick and enter. Okay, here we go. Enter into Streamlabs at the same time. So here is my Pokemon. Here's a couple facts about it. Pokedex entry number 34. I don't know what kind of animal it's supposed to be, but it is a beloved Pokemon from the early generations. I'm of course talking about Nidoking. And oh, Shelby's back. Cool. So here's the thing that's so cool about Nidoking. The reason I'm picking Nidoking is because this Pokemon was really interesting to me. I didn't when I first played through the games, I didn't play I didn't like use Nidoking on my squad or whatever. But when I became aware of Pokemon speedrunning was when I became a big fan of Nidoking, because he's the main Pokemon you use if you're trying to speedrun Pokemon Red or Blue. Your run only works. Your starter does not matter. You have to go to a specific patch of grass outside of the Indigo Road, and you have to snag a Nidorino or a Nidoran male and evolve it into a Nidoking. And there's a couple of reasons for that. This is super interesting. It is a ground poison type Pokemon, which for competitive Pokemon sucks so much, especially in Generation 1 when it first came out. It's like double weak to everything good. But it has a really huge move pool. This Pokemon can learn just about anything. And that's what made it super cool to play the game in a totally different way. So I was really excited about Nidoking. Also, double weak to Psychic, which sucked, especially in Generation 1. It got a little bit better after that when they split Special from being your attack and defense to those being two different stats. But yeah, the fact that this Pokemon is the crux of the Pokemon Red and Blue speedrun community still, I thought was really cool. It lets you play the game in a different way. So I had a lot of respect for Nidoking after that. A Pokemon that was really easy for me to overlook at the beginning. Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to fix the overlay. Which I will do during Colby's pick. It is Colby up next. Hello?
Colby.
Hey.
Is everything okay?
Is it? I just lost all sound for a brief second.
Oh, okay. No, it's your go. Your pick. I'm done talking
sorry.
about Nidoking for now.
He chose Nidoking.
What?
He chose Nidoking.
Which is insane.
Also, Kevin,
he looks so weird. He's like a man, but he's
First of all,
like a dinosaur man. I don't like him.
I love your pick because he was my number 2 pick.
Really?
Oh,
If you didn't get him, I was gonna get him. But I love that you call him Nidoking, but you say Nidoran and Nidorino.
Yeah.
I have heard it both ways, Nidoking and Nidoking.
Yeah.
But I find it amazing that you pronounce the line in two different. Like that's awesome.
Kev, I think it was a great pick, honestly. Because when I was playing the games, like he wasn't on my list, right? But
Yeah.
I remember playing the games, and he would never be like that I guess line of evolution was never my main.
Yeah.
But while I was trying to develop other things, like Nidoran or Nidorino would always be my number 2.
Yeah.
And so generally, I would always end up one of my very first like top evolutions when playing the game, even though it wasn't my favorite, was a Nidoqueen or a Nidoking. So
yeah, just a very cool Pokemon.
Yeah.
It was like Nidoking to me represents being a fan of Pokemon as an adult, if that makes sense. Because as a kid, I didn't think he was anything special. But as an adult, I was like, wait a minute, this thing's cool. A lot of people say it's supposed to be a rabbit. I don't know, I've never seen a rabbit looks like that.
It's got little ears.
He's got little ears. He's also got a tail and a horn.
Yeah, but they were cute when they were little.
Yeah, he looks more like a rabbit when he's little.
yeah, that's
It's like
true.
a rabbit evolved into like a spiky rhinoceros or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So for my first pick, this is one that's pretty recently near and dear to my heart. It's one of the original starters. Whenever I was working in Atlanta, I would be on the public transit constantly, and I would lose cell service all the time. So of course I got a emulator, and I started just doing random challenges. And one of the challenges I did was what starter can, like, if you only had to use your starter for the whole game in battles, which one could you beat the game with?
Sure.
And I only tried it with 2 of them, and the second one never made it past Victory Road. But the number 1 pick I'm going to do is Blastoise.
Really?
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's
You
awesome.
can beat the whole game with just Blastoise. I mean, you got to use other stuff to like do HMs, right? But Blastoise, battle-wise, can win every fight.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so it's going to be a quiet Blastoise for those who care about natures. And moves are Surf for the stab, Ice Beam, Earthquake, because of course everything should know Earthquake that can, and Flash Cannon.
And Flash.
Those are my 4 moves, and that's my first pick. I used to not really like Blastoise a lot. Like, yeah, it was cool. We had cannons. When I was a kid, my pick was always Charizard, right? But Kevin, kind of along with what you were saying, Blastoise is like the change from like, oh, this is cool to, oh, this is I like, as an adult, I like Pokemon because of the strategy, and Blastoise is that guy for me.
That's pretty cool. I always thought that Venusaur was the easiest one to clear Pokemon Red with.
Venusaur was my first holographic card.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, hold on.
Awesome.
Venusaur is the one I never tried to beat the game with.
He's like super good against all the early gyms. Like the first 3 gyms he's good against.
That would
I
make
was
sense.
really nervous
Japanese.
about just like
And that was
Blaine.
very cool.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, rad, Shelby.
Isn't they cool?
Oh, that's awesome. You have it right there. That's so
Yeah.
cool. All right. So Colby is going to pick Blastoise. Oops. Everything is... Man, all my stuff got out of order. I got to figure out how to do this where it's resilient if somebody gets dropped from the call. But that's okay. All right. So that brings us to our final pick for the first round and our first pick for the second round.
Got it.
They're both in your hands, Devin. Who is
Yep.
going to be your number 1?
First, I wanted to say, Shelby, the proudest moment of my life was when I finally got holographic Blastoise, Venusaur, and Charizard,
Yes.
Oh my god, you have all
Which-
3?
which happened when I was like 27 years old.
Oh.
Like I went through a phase a couple years ago where I got on Amazon and just bought like a ton of Pokemon cards, because it's like when I was little I didn't have money, and then like they were more expensive, and now
Yeah.
like at least a couple years ago you could get on Amazon, like buy any of the original ones, and some of them were more expensive, but I was like, wow, I can do this now, you know.
Yeah.
um
So exciting.
yeah, so yeah, it was great. Okay, so I have 2 in a row, Kev.
You have
Right?
2 in a row. So who's your first one
Okay.
going to be?
Okay, my first one, I am going to go with Licky Tongue.
Really? I
I
like
am
Licky
going with
Tongue.
Licky Tongue. Okay.
All right.
And I was debating on my first choice. I have like a list of what I thought I was going to do, and this was not my original number 1, but I'm going to go with it. And the reason is purely original set trading card game rationale.
Okay, no, this is good because I'm glad you picked this then.
Okay, so the way it works is with Licky Tongue had this move, right, where essentially it would force the opponent to flip a coin, and if it got, you know, heads or tails, it could potentially be paralyzed for the next round, and then they would have to, do their thing to try to get unparalyzed, but it would also cause 10 damage. The great thing was, though, not only did it have that move, it also had 90 HP, which in original Pokemon terms is really, really good for a Pokemon that doesn't have any evolutions and is just like straight in there, right? So I remember I used to play the Pokemon trading card game with people, and if I ever got Lickitung in my deck, even though it's a quiet card, but if you have it, you just stick it in there, and you can completely, if you have the 50-50 chance of like every single turn obliterating your opponent's ability to attack you and also dealing like steady damage. And then once again, 90 HP, keeping in mind that 120 HP was the top at that time, is really good. Is really good. Yeah.
Something really interesting that I learned this week while doing research on this, actually about the Lickitung card. I'm so glad somebody picked it, because otherwise I wasn't going to get to talk about this. So there's a format for that game, and there's some name for it, but it's the first year that the Pokemon trading card game was out. It's the first 3 sets. It's the base set, it's Fossil, and Jungle. That's like considered the like original version of the Pokemon trading card game, and people still play it to this day, just those cards. And it was believed for a long time that it was like a solved format, like that there was no more metagame development there. And there was this deck called Haymaker that was the big deck, and it was like the Hitmonchan card was super good, and the Electabuzz card was super good, and the Scyther card, all these like basic Pokemon with high stats, no evolutions, that dealt a lot of damage. And there was a tournament in 2013. They had a classic Pokemon tournament with all of the same format, and the guy who won played a stall deck that was based around Mr. Mime from Jungle and Lickitung, also from Jungle, because it had psychic resistance, and because Lick only did 10 damage, it got to get under the Mr. Mime shields, which was popular for the other stall decks, and he had so much HP, it was great, and so he won by decking other decks out because they couldn't kill his Pokemon. It was super cool.
Kev, you're revealing my strategy going forward, man.
Oh no. Well, it is your turn for another pick.
Yeah, but I mean, are we ready to move on?
Well, do you have more to say about Lickitung?
I mean, all right, let's be honest too. Look at Lickitung. Come on.
So why not Licky Licky?
Lickitung is awesome, and I know you can't really pull it up, but everyone should look up the original, like the card, where it's just like there's like a photo of him just like, and it's just it's great card art. So everyone should check that out.
I also love the Lickitung game in Pokemon Stadium, where you went like that and got all the sushi.
It's a good one.
Exactly.
It's great.
Yep. Okay. So I'm ready for my second one.
All right, hit me with it. Who you got?
Okay. This one's a little bit less. I'm going with Execute.
Okay.
Execute.
I'm going with Execute because, like, all right, as I said earlier, I kind of dropped off with Pokemon. Like, I've always loved Pokemon, and I continue to love Pokemon. But as far as like new Pokemon, I'm not that knowledgeable about a lot of the newer ones. I feel like Execute was the original dumb as hell Pokemon, right? Like, I feel like there's a lot of them. Like, there's ones that's like a chandelier Pokemon and a trash can Pokemon. All these Pokemon. Execute is literally just eggs, right? It's like
it's just like some eggs, I
love that. I love that idea. I mean, I eat eggs all the time, so I clearly like eggs a lot. But it's just like, and I mean, I also just wanted to say Execute simply because of its evolutions. Like, I mean,
the tree, the palm tree one.
Yeah, the palm tree one, and we have Executor, which is just like a pineapple, right? Like, or like it could not be dumber, and I really respect that. Like, it comes across to me, like, and I know a lot of people say this, but it came to the idea that, like, oh, we need this number of Pokemon. Eggs? And I find that absolutely hilarious. And plus, I mean, look at the picture.
Look at him.
You have
What
all
I
the
love about the
personalities.
picture is that there's clearly one that's the leader, and one is actually cracked open.
Yeah, one is
Right.
very. Several are
Yeah.
cracked.
Right,
One
so-
is very broken.
Is that one like? Is it dead? I'm assuming it's not dead.
Actually, I read today that once they start cracking, that shows it's about to evolve.
That's true.
Um,
That's what the
Oh,
Pokedex
true.
It
says.
needs stone to evolve, so how would it know?
I have no idea. But what I can say is I love how you have like the spectrum of personalities, right? So like bottom left, that one's just sad. Top right is like, I guess, tired. In the middle, he's kind of like cocky. Well, I guess the other two are just kind of like angry too. Never mind. All
Yeah,
the negative-
it's the full spectrum of emotions: sad, angry, cocky, and bleh.
Exactly. That's- I mean, right? So yeah, I feel very happy with my execute. Yeah, and I mean it's also good camouflage. So like, if you want to, you could just pretend like you're frying them and over your shoulder. And, I don't know. Yeah, execute.
Execute.
pick.
All right, execute. That's an interesting pick. I like it a lot. Interesting thing about execute. Execute is the collective name. It has to be 6 eggs to be an execute. If it's not 6, it's not execute.
That's a lot of eggs.
There's a lot of eggs, a half dozen.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, Colby, who is your number 2 pick?
All right, this guy is actually pretty low on my original list of 24, and I'm switching it up and picking somebody lower on the list because you guys picked stuff that was, from other series, or not series, but from like other things than just the main games. So I'm gonna go with Lucario because he's in
Ooh.
Smash.
That's
He's
that's
still-
that's one that I definitely think of when I think of Pokemon Colby likes. That's cool. So Lucario is pretty cool. Tell us a little bit about Lucario.
Yeah, I mean, he's fighting still. I've literally never played with him in any of the main games, so I have all of the like emotional content I have with it is from losing it horribly at Smash. But he's fighting still. I've picked a naive nature just because of the way his stats line up. That boosts his speed and lowers his special defense, I think. Aura Sphere, Force Palm, Psychic, Meteor Mash. Those would be my attacks. But he was cool. We had a movie where turns out Ash has like actual supernatural abilities, and he's like the reincarnation of Lucario's old master or something.
Oh.
Pokemon movies are interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true.
That is very true. I never saw that movie, but that is true that he did get his own movie. He has for a non-legendary, non-mythic Pokemon, he has a big mythos about him.
Huh. I didn't know Lucario was non-legendary.
Yeah, he's just like a regular
Hey,
dude.
You can just find Riolu, is that his pre-evolution? You just find them in the wild area in Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Oh, I like him. Yeah, I found him.
I know they don't have these in Sword and Shield, but Lucario also got a Mega Form in the Alolan versions, I think. I think it was the Alolan versions. Yeah, he got he got a Mega Form. And it's pretty cool.
I was gonna look up and see if the shiny version was the version I use in Smash. It's not. The shiny version looks like hot garbage.
Lucario's a good pick. I like it. All right.
He looks a lot like my aunt.
What?
Your aunt? Huh. Oh,
Yeah.
this is something that Kevin knows about me, but I don't know if everyone else knows about me. But I don't like it when the Pokemon look like men. Like, I don't like it when they have like a humanoid. Like,
Yeah.
the more humanoid they get, the more uncomfortable I get.
Okay.
Which is why I feel like I never really got into Digimon, because they all like evolved into, or digivolved into
Tough guys.
things that could speak.
Thank you for
I didn't
correcting
love that.
yourself.
Yeah.
Well, you're not gonna like my next pick then.
Oh no!
You're gonna have some problems with this. All right, so something that Pokemon picked up in Generation 3 was weather effects, and they really ran with this to the point where in Generation 5, weather ruled the competitive Pokemon metagame. Now, basically it was what weather effect do you want your team to be set up with, right? Do you want hail or sandstorm or bright sun, or rain was super popular. And probably the most popular rain setter was not the one that I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick the second most popular rain setting Pokemon, but that's because he's got a little bit more charm and a little bit more pizzazz. I'm talking about Ludicolo. All right, I'm so excited to pick Ludicolo here.
Oh wait, I like Ludicolo.
Let me tell
that's a
you
good choice.
why I love this guy so much.
Good choice.
According to his Pokedex entry, if it ever hears festive music of any kind, it is compelled to dance. It has no choice in the matter. And on a cellular level, festive dancing powers him up. So it's no surprise then that this Pokemon was almost never seen without the move Rain Dance in his arsenal. Ludicolo, he's Water Grass, which is very interesting. If you ever played Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness for the Nintendo GameCube, there was an enemy you'd face, an NPC named Mirror B. And Mirror B was surrounded by 6 Ludicolos. And when you fought Mirror B in the game, it had a team of 5 Ludicolos that were all like level 60. And if you beat the 5 Ludicolos, they brought out their friend, a level 70 Dragonite. So they were just all dancing, all having fun, and then there's a Dragonite there. So predominantly, the thing I really love about this guy is, for as doofy as he is, he was like a really key cornerstone of competitive Pokemon for a whole generation. In singles and in doubles, he was used to... so first, he was just used because he could make it rain, right? And that's kind of always going to be his main thing, is that he can make it rain. Sometimes that would be to mess up other teams who were trying to set different weather. Ludicolo would come in and rain dance and like make the sun go away and bring out rain, and that was really hard for certain teams to deal with. Sometimes he would just make it rain so that he could, switch out and like let somebody who's gonna take advantage of the rain to do a lot more damage do their thing. But then there became another reason he'd make it rain. He has an ability called Rain Dish. His little hat or whatever absorbs water. So if it's raining, he can sip on some water. He gets healed a little bit at the end of each turn. There's also an item called Leftovers, which heals you a little bit at the end of each turn. Ludicolo is also grass type and can learn Giga Drain and heal himself a little bit. And if you add all that together, it turns out that a defensive Ludicolo was actually very difficult to kill. It actually got to the point where the weather got so absurd that in Generation 5, they had to ban the combination of Drizzle and Swift Swim on the same team. You're not allowed to have both of those things. Swift Swim is a Pokemon ability that they can have where their speed is boosted in the rain, so you get to act first if it's raining, and it's always raining because you're Ludicolo and he dances all the time. So this guy was actually like one of the most broken Pokemon ever made, and he's super stupid. So I love him a lot. The other thing that's so cool about him is you think this dude is all about Rain Dance, right? But he's actually a multi-time national champion in doubles for built without Rain Dance, built to do Sunny Day instead, to take advantage of bringing the sun out after he makes it rain. This is awesome. He'd bring out the sun. He would then be able to shoot a fully charged Solar Beam on turn 1. And then his Pokemon, who is his partner, because it was doubles, would be Fire type and would benefit from the sun. This dude could do it all. Ludicolo is awesome. I love this guy. I'm so glad I get to pick him.
All I can think of whenever, as soon as you said Ludicolo, the first thing that popped in my head, Pokemon Detective. It's just behind the counter, like,
yeah. And he's super weird. He is super weird.
I love him.
All right, Shelby, now that I've gone on for too long about Ludicolo, who are you going to pick for your Pokemon?
Do I get to do 2 in a row?
You're going to have 2 in a row. Yeah, 2 in a row.
Yes. Oh, this is the best situation. Okay, so my next Pokemon is, and so for Pidove, I definitely said that was the first Pokemon that I fell in love with. Like at first, I was playing a game, I saw this Pokemon I had never seen before, and I fell in love. This Pokemon that I'm about to talk about, I fell in love with without having. I don't even remember how this Pokemon like came into my life. I think it was Kevin's fault, but it's Pancham.
Oh,
It is
Pancham was on my
Pancham,
list
y'all.
too.
Okay, so Pancham, I don't. Kevin, do you remember how I found out about Pancham?
I'm trying to remember.
Because like I never played any game with Pancham in it, but at some point I became aware of Pancham, and Pancham is just a punk ass. And this is the only Pokemon card that I've ever purchased, ever in my life. Like not as like, oh, my parents didn't buy it for me.
Yeah,
or
we
I
specifically
traded it.
ordered this card.
I purchased this card as an adult like
Oh, yeah.
last year. And here he is. It's the Bad Influence evolution. I'm so excited that I have these Pokemon cards. I didn't even know that I was going to be able to supplement this. But it's the Bad Influence evolution. Like, he's such a punk. Look at him. He's like he's got his little leaf and he's like, oh, like, he's such a punk ass. And also, this is Pippa's favorite Pokemon because this is also the only Pokemon, like, little toy that I've ever had. Kevin got it for me one time, and then Pippa ate it. Ate its nose off, I think. And she still keeps it. So Pippa, my dog, has like a collection of treasures that she keeps under the bed. And one of them I just checked, and I'm gonna go get it now, is Pancham.
When Pippa ate Pancham's nose off, it was the maddest I've ever been at her. Because I love Pancham so much.
Oh,
Here he is.
You'll see he has no nose.
no nose.
He has no nose because Pippa ate it. But yeah, this is look how tough he is.
Very tough.
He's such a punk. Anyway, so my next pick is Pancham. I absolutely love Pancham.
You can tell how tough Pancham is because he got his nose bitten off. He just doesn't care. He's still
He
like,
doesn't care. He's still got his leaf.
Still going.
Look at his little feet, and he's got his like hands on his hips. Oh, I love Pancham so much.
I love Pancham. Yeah, he really is the bad influence Pokemon. I love the way he evolves.
How does he evolve?
So to be able to evolve Pancham is pure fighting type, but his evolution, Pangoro, is fighting dark. And Pangoro, he only evolves into Pangoro if there is a higher level dark type Pokemon on your team. That is to say, if someone is a bad influence on him, he will evolve, but not without it.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so cool. That's awesome.
He's great. I love Pancham.
I love Pancham so much. And my next Pokemon, and I'm so excited to have this Pokemon on my team, but it is Sylveon.
All right, that's a good one.
Sorry, I didn't know that I was gonna get here. I didn't want to be strategic and pick like because again, there's so many good. I feel like there's so many good evolutions.
Yep.
But I'm so excited to have Sylveon. I feel like I've only had Sylveon on my team in Sword and Shield, and I just love him so much. Are there any other Pokemon with like ribbons? Like ribbons as part of their like character design?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think so, but it's just I love Sylveon so much. And also the fact that what is it? So I found out recently the only I like looked them up because Kevin's like, oh, you should look up the Pokemon you like and figure out more about them. And they described the like ribbons as ribbon-like feelers, and I don't love that, but I'm kind of into that. I think that like he's got like a little bit of an edge, but look how beautiful he is.
Yeah, it is really
Anyways.
weird to think of them as like antennae, isn't it?
Yeah, feelers, the ribbon-like feelers. But anyways, I love Sylveon, and those are my two.
It's a good
You
choice.
didn't pick Sylveon, and if no one else, I was gonna pick Umbreon. I think
like
everyone
Umbreon.
has a favorite evolution.
Oh yeah, what is now that I've totally like killed the evolution line? What are all your favorite evolutions?
So
Umbreon for sure.
Umbreon?
Umbreon is actually my number 2 favorite Pokemon of all time.
Really?
He's just a black cat. And the shiny version's got little black circles on it. It's adorable.
Yeah. I would have to say, and this is strictly because, once again, of trading card game art, I really love the arched back Jolteon.
Oh,
Ooh, yeah, that's
And
a
once
good
again,
one.
like I just really love the art on the card, and that's one that's like permanently like imprinted on my brain is the Jolteon art. So that I would say Jolteon.
that is Jolteon is super cool. This is such a hard choice for me because I think the answer is Eevee, which is kind of a cop-out answer. I think Eevee is my favorite. Because you never have to make a decision if you pick Eevee. You just get to be its best friend and let God decide what it ends up being. There you go.
Yeah,
That's it.
so-
That's it exactly.
Oh, this
Shelby.
came in
Thank
so
you.
much handy. It's so good. Jolteon was my favorite because of this too.
That's
No,
amazing
that's a
art.
lie. It was Vaporeon because I had another holographic.
All right, the
By the way,
Vaporeon
my
was really
sister texted me during the stream and called me a nerd.
That's very funny. Well, you know, she may be right. It's hard
She
to
is.
say.
I mean, I'm not gonna say she's wrong.
All right. Is that
Those are so okay. So I'm ready to pass it on to the next person.
you're gonna pass it on? All right. So I have to think about this one a little bit. It's kind of tough. One second, I'm having a little bit of some sort of technical issue.
Not so fast. You were trying to finish this game without picking something that shows who you really are. That's
So you can choose-
right. Your new
Can't hear. Can y'all hear?
I can't hear.
midnight.
I'm seeing a lot though, but I can't hear.
I can't hear anything. Oh no! What's happening?
I think this is better. I think this is better not being able to hear what the heck he's saying.
I think so too. Kevin, are you okay? You're
Yeah, what's going
gesticulating
on?
wildly.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now
Yeah.
We couldn't hear the Matrix boy.
Guys, I think I got hacked.
Oh no!
I got hacked, guys. Guys, someone's been screwing with the stream. I don't know who they are. They're always wearing a mask. And they came in and they stole my Pokemon pick. So I guess my Pokemon pick now, I was not who I was gonna pick, but I've been told that my new pick is Lycanroc. Now, I have to Google this Pokemon because I don't really know a lot about it. Let me look it up real quick. Alright, so it looks like he's from... Alright, step one, he's a nasty boy. Look at that thing.
Oh no!
That thing. I forget everything's mirrored. So yeah, Lycanroc. He's an evil wolf Pokemon. The more intimidating an opponent he faces, the more his blood boils. He has no regard for his own safety. This hungry wolf will fight forever.
This is not a real Pokemon.
Yeah, this is a real Pokemon. I'm looking him up now on Bulbapedia, my favorite
It's
resource for this.
he's like the midnight form when you involve like Rockruff or something.
That is exactly right. That's what I'm reading here.
Wait, really? Isn't Rockruff cute?
Rockruff
Yes,
is cute.
Rockruff is
This is what
adorable,
happens if
and-
you
No!
evolve your Rockruff after 6:59 p.m.
This is just like a regular furry.
This is
Oh,
Lycanroc. It has 3 forms. It has
Shelby.
midnight, dusk, and midday. Yeah. He looks very mean. I don't know a lot about him. I guess Professor Kukui, who everybody thought was the hottest professor, had one. So
It's a rope. Come on.
I guess I'm going with Lycanroc. I don't have a lot to say about him. Those darn hackers got me again.
He got by the hackers.
How
How could anyone do that to Rockruff? I can't believe Rockruff wasn't on my roster or my radar. I didn't even. Oh man.
I do like how he has that Peter Parker Spider-Man 3 hair. It's very cool.
Yeah.
Look, I think we can all agree this Pokemon and anybody who would pick it is bad news.
I think that's true.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
Very true.
All right. Colby, while I try to recover and figure out what's going on with my stream, who is your third Pokemon?
I'm torn between two of them, and I think I'm gonna go. I was gonna originally choose Vileplume, but I'm not. I think I'm gonna choose Rillaboom because it's literally if Donkey Kong went Super Saiyan 3, right?
Yeah.
Also was my starter in Sword and Shield and very near and dear to my heart. Vileplume had like one good Nuzlocke run, but I think Rillaboom is more. I just like monkeys, right? I just like any monkey Pokemon. Apom, those 3 elemental monkeys from that one game. God, I don't remember what they're called. So
Oh, I know you're talking about Panseer, Pansage, and the other one.
yes, and Panpour. Yeah. I like monkeys.
My favorite thing about Rillaboom is when they throw him out, you yell, "Go Rillaboom!" And that's funny. I'm stalling for time because I can't find him on the official Nintendo website.
That's fine. I can talk more about him. I had Let's Go Eevee, right? And in Sword and Shield, if you had Let's Go Pikachu or Let's Go Eevee, you got like a 6 IV version of that Pokemon.
Yeah.
I got a 6 IV Eevee, and Rillaboom and Eevee are in the same, or at least one of the same egg groups. So I've been over this past Thanksgiving, I was mercilessly breeding my Rillaboom to get 2 perfect groupies. I got a perfect male groupie, but I don't have the perfect female groupie yet.
Oh.
I was just flooding that trade system with groupies, and I had leveled up 2 of them to get like all the best like high level moves, right? Because you get the XP shares. So it didn't take that long.
Yeah.
So I was just flooding the surprise trade with all these like at least 4 IV groupies with like high level moves. And I like that you got the trading card.
This is the only image that Nintendo has on their website is different trading card versions of him. So he's just smacking that drum.
And my Rillaboom, or my starter, was female, which is you got like a 12% chance of that happening.
Yeah.
So to me, like Rillaboom is like female, which is like it's strange that we get like gender ideas about Pokemon, because like I always think of Sylveon as a girl, even though Shelby was using like him.
Yeah, I've always thought of Sylveon as a boy. Oh, that's so cool.
I've always thought of it as an alien because it has weird feelers.
Yeah, it's got ribbon feelers.
Yeah.
So Rillaboom, that's a good pick. I like Rillaboom.
I really like Nintendo's just got this thing about gorillas and bongos, because Donkey Kong in the N64 game, I guess DK64 or something, his instrument was bongos. Donkey Konga came out, and now we've got Rillaboom. Like Nintendo's definitely got some gorilla bongo like biases.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I don't have anything else to say about him other than, to Devin's point, this card has way more HP and does way more damage than any of the cards I remember as a kid.
So much.
That is
it's
wild.
It's not even
Is that
fair.
190?
He could one-shot any Pokemon that I remember from playing this trading card game, and it doesn't even have a downside other than you can't use it in your next turn. You just have to use your 90 damage move.
Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous, man.
It is pretty crazy. So Devin, hit us up with your third and then your fourth pick.
Okay, so I'm gonna this was one of my alternates that I hadn't planned on choosing, but Colby's passionate defense of like monkey-like Pokemon has spurred my next choice, which will be the only non-151 Pokemon I choose.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I'll go ahead and tell you this.
I'm so interested.
That I'm gonna go ahead and admit something. I did not know this Pokemon existed until I looked up its earlier evolution, because it was one of my originally favorite Pokemon, and then I was like, hell. The answer is, I was looking up it doesn't matter. Tangrowth.
Tangrowth. All right.
Which is basically just Tangela with gorilla arms.
Oh, it's the Tangela.
Oh
It's the
That's all
Tangela
it
with
is.
gorilla arms. That's
No.
right.
Listen,
no!
Tangela was always one of my. I loved Tangela, right? Tangela was really cute. It was like just this like dumb looking like spaghetti worm Pokemon with red shoes. I loved Tangela, and so originally Tangela was gonna be my choice, but then I looked up Tangela and happened to find on Bulbapedia that Tangrowth existed, and it's literally just
my
Tangela
gosh.
with like these weird gorilla arms, and so I had to choose Tangela.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it I'm trying to find it. But yeah, it is. I want people to see a picture of it
You
because
have to
it's
find
crazy.
a picture because it's vital. Because literally my only choice is the only reason I'm choosing this is because of the picture I saw of Tangrowth, which is just hilarious and awesome. That's
love
the only
Tangrowth so
that's the
much.
only justification I have for this choice.
Oh my gosh. I think I've got
Colby,
it.
who's
Let's
that
see.
dog?
He does have weird gorilla arms.
This
So,
is-
oh, that's so cute.
as soon as Devin mentioned Tangrowth, my dog ran into the room. So he's also, I guess, a big Tangrowth fan.
Everyone is, man.
There it is. Well, so yeah, really cool thing about Tangela, since now it's off the table, it's the only Pokemon in Generation 1 that is just Grass type.
I love Tangrowth.
Like look at that
Tangela
thing.
always scared the shit out of me.
No,
and I don't know why.
I love Tangela, if only for the red shoes. Like, it's just hilarious to me, right?
Yeah.
So I really love Tangela, and then, like I said, I looked it up and saw this guy, and I'm like, holy hell, like, I have to choose this thing. This is the dumbest, coolest thing I've ever seen. And the arms in several of the pictures reminded me of, like kind of like long gorilla arms or something like that, or like chimpanzee arms, and so that's Colby, you forced my hand here.
And I appreciate that you respect the gorilla arms.
Did you see the way that it evolves?
No, please tell me.
It evolves if Tangela levels up while knowing the move Ancient Power. Like, this is some sort of missing link version of Tangela.
Once again, I'm thinking these people were sitting around talking about what Pokemon to make, and they're like, what if we just give Tangela arms? You know, which is awesome.
Also, I really
It
like
really
that the
is.
tips are red, and Tangela didn't have red. Like, he had red shoes, right?
Red shoes,
but like,
right.
where does the red come from?
No idea.
That is wild. All right, so Tangrowth, that is a great pick. Leading us into the next round, who is going to be your fourth pick?
Okay. So this one, I'm going to have to go back a little bit to my history as well. And Kev, I believe you actually mentioned this Pokemon a little bit earlier, but for my number 4 is going to have to be Electabuzz.
Ah, yeah, very good one.
Yeah, and the primary reason has nothing to do with Pokemon. It has to do with, I guess, it does have to do with Pokemon, but I mean not Electabuzz in particular.
Mhm.
When I was younger, when Pokemon, the first movie, came out,
Yeah.
me and my buddy Joshua, who lived up the street, and we'd play like Bionicles together and stuff. He and I went to see Pokemon, the first movie. And when you got that ticket, at least for I know like the earlier tickets, you would get a card, like a special edition WB, like Pokemon the first movie collector's card. And it was basically just like any other Pokemon card, but it would like had different art, some different moves, and then it had a little thing on it just saying that it was
like a
special
silver
release
stamp
card.
on it. Yeah, I've got one in that bin over there.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And so, like, that was the one I got, was that Electabuzz. And I remember just thinking it was so cool because I had a normal Electabuzz, but I remember just, like, treasuring it because of this memory. I ended up getting, I think a Mewtwo and a couple others that were like the WB specials or whatever. But like, I just remember being really thrilled with the card, and then I like, oh, cool. Not only did I get to see this movie, but I got the card. I also wanted to note that Electabuzz has the best card, like, you know, the descriptions at the very bottom.
Oh yeah.
Of Pokemon. It has the best one that I've ever read, and I'm going to read it real quick.
Oh, good. I was trying to find it, and I couldn't figure out where to find it.
All right. So this is the description. A wild Pokemon with a short temper. It is able to distinguish colors and likes the color red. Like, that's amazing. Like, there's so little to say about Electabuzz. They just say, yeah, he likes red and he can see colors. Like, that's amazing. Like,
the funny thing about it is
it's that uninteresting that they have to just like, oh yeah, this guy can see colors.
That's not in any of his Pokedex entries. I'm reading over them all right now. It's not in any of them from any version of the game.
Look up.
What's incredible though,
you have to,
there's an anime episode
Yes.
with Electabuzz and Scyther, and he vehemently hates red, like he gets like ketchup on his eyes and just attacks everything.
See, this is funny. Kevin, look up. All right, so I don't know if it's on any other description except for the special edition card, but it's definitely on the special edition card.
Oh, on the special edition one. Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and so I once again, there's like a memory, like a nostalgia to it, but also just the fact that that's an objectively awesome.
Yeah, I've got it, the card pulled up right here. Yeah, it is the second of all the promotional cards ever printed by the Pokemon Company, and a wild Pokemon with a short temper. It's able to distinguish colors and likes the color red.
That's great. Come
so
on.
Bizarre.
Come on. It's great.
It really is. Yeah, it's great.
Also, another great thing about Electabuzz, I'm pretty sure it's the only Pokemon in all of Pokemon Snap who actually has a job, right? And Electabuzz, like, they run the power plant.
Yeah, you're
Really?
right.
See,
you go.
but I had that same like promotional card when I saw the movie, and I like could not get rid of it fast enough because Electabuzz scared the crap out of me. Like, he's got arms and legs and he has a job. Like, I don't want that in my like Pokemon creatures.
Right.
Anyways.
Oh my
And you
god.
get enough of them, and you're just like a manager. You're not even a trainer. He's just like, yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
HR. for
He's
this.
got like a day job. Yeah. That's a
Oh
great
my
pick.
gosh.
I love that pick. That's such a good pick.
That
And like
is
we said
such a
before,
good
he was
description, though.
for the trading card was very good in its day.
Yeah.
All right, Colby,
Okay,
what's
so
your fourth
I'm
pick? We're
pretty
coming into the
sure-
second half of the draft now.
Okay. I'm pretty sure everyone who's like, started playing Pokemon whenever it was a young enough franchise, everyone's first shiny Pokemon was Gyarados, right?
Yeah.
I'm not picking Gyarados.
Oh,
That's everyone's first, that's like the Pokemon company gave you a free shiny
yeah.
in the Lake of Rage. Well, the first shiny I ever caught, legitimately, took me years. Like, I didn't see one until, besides this is the first one I ever saw in the wild. It is a shiny Gigalith. And
Okay.
the instant I saw that it was a Roggenrola when I first saw it, and I caught it early in my game, and I was like, first shiny Pokemon ever, definitely on my team. It was a powerhouse. It was a strong dude. I definitely remember. He's a pure rock type,
Mm-hmm.
and he learns Rock Slide, which is a really decent move because it's got a high accuracy. It's got somewhat high. It's like a 70 power, but its attack is like through the roof compared to the rest of its stats.
Yeah, he has a
so I would-
135 base attack. It's super high.
Yeah, so I would pick an adamant, shiny Gigalith, and the shiny one is blue. He's got blue crystals instead of red.
Yeah, pretend these red crystals are blue because I can't find shiny versions.
So, I would pick adamant to raise an attack and lower its special attack because I don't think it even learns its special attack moves.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, and then I would teach it Rock Slide, Iron Head. Iron Head covers some of its weaknesses. Stealth Rock, because that's just a good setup move, and Rock Tomb.
That is really good. It is really cool when you find your first shiny Pokemon. It like really sticks with you, and it gives you a connection to something that you might normally not have cared about.
Yeah, I would definitely not. I mean, this is like a Geodude ripoff, right? Like it's just another rock thing that has 2 evolutions. But yeah, definitely, you're like the first shiny Pokemon you get. Like you always remember it.
Unless my first shiny Pokemon. My first shiny Pokemon was a Geodude.
Oh.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't like Geodude.
Yeah, what was everybody's first shiny Pokemon?
He had arms.
I think the first shiny Pokemon I ever got, I'm not sure. I mean, not counting that Gyarados, right?
Yeah, not counting the Lake of Rage Gyarados.
Not
that
counting
that
the
was
Lake-
like programmed into the game. This is one that like you found in the wild, I will say.
I think it was probably, it was in Pokemon Go. I think it was a shiny Larvitar. Which was pretty cool. Although the thing that stands out the most to me is I have a shiny in Pokemon Go, shiny perfect IVs. It has 10s in all of its IVs. It is a Bidoof. And I'll tell you, that is the biggest mixed bag of emotions right there.
So jealous.
When you catch this you see, oh my god, it's a shiny. Oh my god, it has perfect IVs. This is the biggest waste to put it on as a Bidoof.
Have you seen there's something on YouTube, it's called Pokemon Rusty.
Yeah.
He gets a shiny perfect IV Bidoof. And it becomes God.
It does. So I have one in Pokemon Go right now, currently uninstalled from my phone. And I didn't know what to do with it, so I just changed his name to Mr. Perfect and left him on my squad. So not my first, I don't think, but definitely my favorite. All right, I think that brings it back to me. And I have to say, I am amazed that I get to pick this Pokemon. I thought there was no way I was gonna get it. So Devin talked a little bit about it earlier, kind of alluded to it. I know the chat has mentioned it.
Damn it.
This Pokemon got its own movie. I gotta pick Mewtwo.
Mewtwo?
Why
That's
is
the most man Pokemon around.
That's good. That's a good choice. That's a great choice.
Mewtwo
Great
is
choice.
awesome.
And that picking Mewtwo knocks out picking Mew, correct?
No, they are separate
Oh, wait.
Pokemon.
Yeah, 150, 150.
They do not have. They're not an evolutionary line.
Right.
Yeah, Mewtwo. Mewtwo is so good. Okay, in Pokemon Red and Blue, and also Yellow, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, Mewtwo is so much better than every other Pokemon stat-wise. He's so strong that the way the competitive Pokemon tier, I should probably explain how these work. The Pokemon tier list for competitive Pokemon is very interesting because it's ranked in this bottom up kind of way where the top tier is called OU. It's overused Pokemon. It's the Pokemon that are really strong, and so if your Pokemon is considered to be overused, it is relegated just to that tier, which includes those Pokemon plus every other Pokemon. Then there's underused, which is all the Pokemon except the overused, and it just kind of like goes down and gets more and more specific, right? There's NU for never used. There's PU for the ones that really suck. So that was the way it worked, right? You can always take a Pokemon from a lower tier to a higher tier, but you can't go back down, right? Well, Mewtwo is the reason there's a tier above overused. That's the Ubers tier. And it's just Pokemon that can't play with any other Pokemon because they're too good. So it's like all the Pokemon gods. And Mewtwo's the reason that tier exists. He's the first Pokemon to use it. He's literally the benchmark for strong Pokemon. So, yeah, that's super cool. And he can talk, which is crazy. Maybe. He might just be psychic. I'm not sure if he can actually talk. He might just be psychic.
That's worse.
It's because he doesn't have a mouth, so I can't really tell. Also, I don't know if anyone has read the Pokemon manga. I haven't, but I think I need to, because at one point, Mewtwo the flies together with Blaine, and Blaine just becomes a half man, half Mewtwo. It's crazy.
What? Hey, what volume is that in?
I don't know. I don't know because I've never read it. But the Pokemon manga is
That's
apparently
so
awesome, and
scary.
everyone should read it. Also, as if Mewtwo wasn't strong enough, which he obviously was, he has not one, but 2 Mega Forms. There's a Mega Mewtwo X, who is just like a fighting type. He becomes fighting and just smacks people around. Or you can go Mega Mewtwo Y and become more psychic. It's amazing.
Those are both so scary.
And
Listen,
then on
yeah.
top of all of
Ugh.
this, if anyone has watched Pokemon Origins, it's like a 4-episode series that follows the Pokemon games, and it's super good because it's the best depiction I've ever seen of what if Pokemon was real. And at the end, he has to go and like deal with Mewtwo in the cave, and it was like just like what it was like when I was a kid. It was so cool. And then finally, the coolest thing about Mewtwo is he's in Smash, right? Mewtwo is one of my favorite characters, probably my second favorite character in Smash Ultimate, which has 75 now characters. It's a ton of characters, and I get to be Mewtwo, and he's awesome. He probably would be my favorite if he wasn't total ass. But I still like him even though he's bad. He's that cool.
Yeah.
Oh god, I didn't realize he didn't have a mouth.
Yeah. No.
This
I
fan
just-
art of him drew him so strong.
Kev, I just remember, yeah, that was probably my biggest memory from seeing the Pokemon first movie was just how friggin' awesome Mewtwo was, and just like how scary and just how intimidating that character was. So good choice. That's a great
Yeah,
choice.
very cool Pokemon. I did not think I was gonna get him, especially after I got hacked. So I was gonna pick him third. I'm happy to get him fourth. And that's all I can say about Mewtwo. I gotta crack open an energy drink and catch my breath. Shelby, it's time for your fourth and also your fifth
Oh
Pokemon pick.
man. Okay, my fourth pick is decidedly Alolan Ninetales. And this was Ninetales was one of my absolute favorite Pokemon. I almost said Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Pokemon. Anyways, Ninetales was like my favorite Pokemon when I was a kid because it was like a fox, and she was so pretty, and it was so cool, and like it was like it had all the tails, and it was awesome, and I like the fire type. And then they hit me with Alolan Ninetales, and they made it like even more elegant and like beautiful, and like they're like clouds. Kevin, where's the picture of Alolan
I'm trying
Ninetales?
to. You specifically
I
said
need a picture
Alolan
of Alolan
Ninetales because I have to
Ninetales right
figure out how
now.
to do that.
I've never played any game with Alolan Ninetales in it, and that has just rocked me to my core because I need to play a game with Alolan Ninetales. I don't have. I just need more Alolan Ninetales in my games, and also so like in Sword and Shield, I definitely had Ninetales. Ninetales is still one of my favorite Pokemon. So like Ninetales and Alolan Ninetales, I think that they're almost equal. Yes! Oh, look at those curls!
Very
It's
cool.
like fairy ice. It is I think the most aesthetically beautiful Pokemon that there is. So anyways, Alolan Ninetales, 100%.
Looks like something from like a Studio Ghibli movie or something.
It
Yeah.
really
Right?
does.
Like
Yeah.
like forest spirit kind of again, the most like they did not have to go as hard on Alolan Ninetales as they did. But it looks like clouds, and it was so I was real into the Alolan Pokemon, and I never played any of those games. But anyways, so that is my number 4. My number 5 I am so excited about, and another one. There were so many Pokemon that I when we initially talked about this draft, I'm like, how am I gonna pick my favorite? And then I just have it was so easy to decide because there's so many Pokemon that are just perfect, and I can't believe that I've been able to get all of my top Pokemon because like I haven't had to make any sacrifices so far because y'all are making crazy choices. But my number 5 Pokemon, which I can't even like number 5 even feels too low, but it's Wooloo.
Oh!
It's absolutely
Go
Wooloo. Wooloo or Shiny Wooloo, they're both so perfect. They've
Please
got
tell
little
me Shiny Wooloo is
brains,
black.
and they're round, and they roll around, and it's Sword and Shield, and they roll, and they got the little brains, and they're so happy. Oh, they're so cute.
Oh
I
my
want to see if
gosh.
Kevin put up a picture of Wooloo.
I'm trying. It takes me a second because I don't know your picks in advance, so I don't have them queued up. I've got to search for them.
For the
I
amount
am
of time
so
I have
happy.
spent talking to you about Wooloo, I can't believe you don't have that queued up.
I'm working on it right now.
If I were ever, I'm not one to like grind for shiny Pokemon, but if I were to grind for a shiny Pokemon, I would grind for a shiny Wooloo because it's like a little black sheep, but I also like the regular sheep. Oh, they're so cute.
1 second. That doesn't seem to be working. All right, we're gonna.
I swear,
I
if
think
you
it's
get hacked
incredible that they
again,
would make the shiny version black. That's just, of course they should, right? I mean, that's a very well-known saying, like black.
Shiny
Cute
Wooloo
little black
is.
sheep with a little white face. and a little
I
white
can't. I don't
braids.
see shiny Wooloo on the Bulbapedia page.
I honestly, I don't need. Yeah, make it bigger.
I can't make it bigger. This is as big as the picture I could find is.
No. Oh, look at him. Or
Wait, Kevin,
her,
just
she's
invert the colors of that,
cute.
and then you get the shiny Wooloo.
It doesn't. I honestly don't even care if it's shiny or not shiny. I love them all the same. Oh, they're so cute. I saw. Oh, I'm looking at. I just googled
Yeah.
Wooloo and I looked at a little picture. They've got little pink flower crowns. I see one where Wooloo's holding a knife in its mouth. Oh, I love Wooloo so much.
Definitely
I
the
saw
cutest Pokemon.
in the chat. I saw Peebs say earlier that Wooloo is core to the Pokemon Sword and Shield speedrun. I need to learn more about that because that sounds really cool. I love any. I think there's a specific Wooloo they get that's a traded Wooloo. I don't know. I haven't been following it that close. I think there's a trainer who will trade you a Wooloo, and they use that because traded Pokemon get XP faster to like out level stuff. I need to look into it, but apparently Wooloo is the champ. Oh, it's
and they
it's
roll
Whimsicott. I'm sorry, it's not
around.
Wooloo. My
Oh.
bad. My bad. That makes more sense though. I don't know why they would trade you a Wooloo. Yeah, Wooloo is super cool. Let me. Gosh, I'm like scrambling to keep up with everything. So yeah, Wooloo was not on mine, but Ninetales was one of mine. So that was actually the one I had up next. I was surprised it was still gonna be around.
Oh, I'm so glad I got Ninetales.
Yeah, it was a
Yay.
good choice.
I would
Yes.
definitely. Also, cool thing about Alolan Ninetales before we go on, I know we're kind of on Wooloo right now, but Alolan Ninetales being fairy and ice, thing's a dragon killer. Like, that thing is, Alolan Ninetales' job is to go out and hunt dragons. It's crazy.
Oh, it's so cool.
All right. Gosh, I gotta look at I gotta figure out what to pick now.
Man, I've got such a stacked team. This is amazing.
I'm definitely really enjoying seeing everyone's themes. Like yours is clearly like it's a cute Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right?
Obviously. Oh my god. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna. This is hard because there's like 5 Pokemon I want, and I've only got 2 picks left. I'll try to find a picture of it. So okay, So I talked a little bit about how in Pokemon tiers you can take a Pokemon from a lower tier and play it in a higher tier, but not vice versa, right? Well, I'm gonna talk about a Pokemon who really does that well, and it's probably the best Pokemon at that, and it's really interesting. It's a Pokemon who I've never been successful with when I've played the games, any of them, but it's one that I do think is super cool and super interesting, and it makes you think about the game in a different way. And I am, of course, talking about Shedinja. All right, so let's talk about what Shedinja is. Shedinja is a Pokemon that will always only have 1 hit point, no matter what. And a Shedinja it's a ghost. It happens when you evolve a different Nincada or Ninjask, I don't know, one of them. You evolve one. If you have an extra spot in your party, the husk it used to be in becomes a ghost Pokemon with 1 health, and it gets this ability, Wonder Guard. And Wonder Guard means that this Shedinja cannot get hit by any move that isn't super effective to it. It can't take any damage that isn't super effective to it. So that becomes very interesting because you have this 1 health bug ghost Pokemon, which is a super weird type that can only get hit by dark, fire, ghost, and rock moves, and that's it. Nothing else can hit it. That's not entirely true. It can take poison damage. It can take damage from like Stealth Rock or Spike Trap or whatever. But those are the only ways to kill it. And what that means is this Pokemon is super bad, but because of that ability, there are certain God tier Pokemon that cannot interact with it. So this is a Pokemon that is in the NU tier. It's in the second lowest tier of competitive Pokemon, but also is regularly seen in the Gods Only tier because of the way it can just totally wall out certain Pokemon. And that's super cool. There's a hole in its back where the other one hatched out, and apparently if you look into the hole, it steals your soul, which is super scary because in all of the sprite-based games, it's standing right in front of you, facing away from you. And if you're interested in ever watching competitive Pokemon, I would really encourage you to look at the 2009 World Doubles Championship, because it's a format where you pick 4 Pokemon, you have and you play 2 at a time. Well, the person who would ultimately get second place in the championship in the finals match in game 2 out of 3. So if they lose this game, they're out. They have a Shedinja in, and its partners, a Snorlax, are the only 2 Pokemon that are left. They haven't killed any Pokemon on the other team. And the Snorlax uses Explode to kill one, but it faints. And the Shedinja, over the next 15 minutes, because it takes a really long time, goes and beats all 3 of the other Pokemon 2v1 by itself. It's super cool. Super cool to watch. It's all because of Wonder Guard. So you get this weird, really weird mix of abilities, and I think it's just cool to think about Pokemon in different ways than we normally would. So that's who I've got for you guys. I've got Shedinja.
That's a solid. You know, I think about this Pokemon every once in a while just because it's one of a kind. You know?
Yeah.
Nothing else is like it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like this guy. He's super weird. And he already has my soul because I played him in Generation 3 when he came out. And you got tricked. It's like when you look at somebody doing the thing below their pants, and they just get you.
That should be. They should absolutely make like a darkest universe part of Pokemon where it's like you play a character that's already had your soul stolen from like one of these things. And there's like Drift Bloom, and that's how you get around to different places. Like they should absolutely. They won't, but they should.
That would be really fun. Oh man! All right, Colby, your 5th pick.
I should have been paying more attention. I'm gonna go. All right, so I've been playing Pokemon a long time, and in high school, when the DS first came out. I'm pretty sure this was Pearl and Diamond. I was in band, and there was a guy who me and him were kind of like rivals. Like he played trombone and I played French horn, and that was a big deal to us.
The natural rivalry.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly. And I had Pearl, and he had Diamond, and we would, we rode on the same bus. And so while we were on the bus, we would be battling Pokemon, because of course we would. And we both had this Pokemon, because it was one you got early in the game. And it's just cool, and he was always so frustrated because whenever we would battle, mine would go first. I don't think we fully understood EVs and IVs and all that. I don't think we really he was just like, why? Like, they're the same level. Why is yours faster? And I loved it because all of his whole team would wipe me constantly. But this one-on-one, I could win it against him. And it is Luxray. Which is like a blue and black, like spiky, very fast lightning lion, right?
Yeah, he is very cool looking.
Yeah, I would of course make him hasty because the whole connection with him for me is speed. He can go faster. Right. So a hasty Luxray, he's electric type. The moves would be Thunder Fang, which is physical, Thunderbolt, which is special, Crunch, and Wild Charge. Let's see if I can get any more notes on it. Nope. He's only weak to ground, which is pretty, anything in those Earthquake gets him.
Yeah, he's only got one weakness.
He's a fast boy. He's a speedy boy.
He really is. Yeah, Luxray is super cool. Yeah, from the Diamond Pearl generation, which was like probably my favorite. There's a lot of cool Pokemon in there.
Yeah, this is I don't know. When I first saw him, I was like, oh, it's like a little blue cat because it starts off as a Shinx, which is kind of like this, but you take off all the black and you make him a lot smaller, like a kitten. And I was like, oh, a little blue cat, like I gotta get him. And then it just he just gets cooler the more he evolves. So this is definitely one of my top 10 of all time.
For sure. That's awesome. All right, Devin.
Very cool tail as well.
Oh yeah. Little star.
Yeah.
Devin, it is now time for you to bring us toward the end of our Pokemon draft by picking your 5th and then your final pick in the Pokemon roster challenge.
Okay, so I think the Kevin's Shedinja pick has spurred me to choose this one. It's one that got mentioned earlier. I'm gonna have to go with, primarily once again because the trading card game, 151, Mr. Mime.
Nice.
And I know, Shelby, I also picked it because I know you'd love it, Shelby. So
that's like a targeted attack.
Listen,
dude.
it definitely is. All right, so the reason I choose Mr. Mime, once again, mainly trading card game based, because in the original cards it had this what was called I don't know, maybe y'all know a lot about the trading card game, but it had a Pokemon Power, right? Which is something a lot of the original cards didn't have, right? And basically what it was is it's like maybe like in D&D terms, if you think about it, it's like a bonus action, right? Or it's like something it can do without having any energies or actually having to attack, right? And so what that bonus action would do, it would essentially, if someone attacked you with an attack that was 30 or higher, it didn't work.
Right.
Right. And so what you could always do is, and I remember doing this a lot, like someone would put in a really heavy hitter. They would put in like, I don't know, they put in like Gyarados or whoever, just something that had really, really strong attacks. And basically you could just throw Mr. Mime in there and they were useless. And, in Pokemon, when you had to retreat a Pokemon, they would have to expend an energy to retreat. Right? And so what you could do is you just throw Mr. Mime in there and you could just sit back, because then you're not doing anything. You don't have to have any energies necessarily, unless you want to treat or whatever, but you would just render their really, really powerful Pokemon useless by doing nothing at all, because most of their moves are 30 or higher. And so, you'd just be good to go. And so I remember, I mentioned Lickitung earlier, but Lickitung and Mr. Mime were two Pokemon that I always had in my deck, multiple if possible, because they aren't necessarily powerful, but they were really, really useful in a strategic sense to kind of negate your opponent's attack, especially if they had really powerful Pokemon. So yeah, it was, I don't know, I liked playing the game more strategically. Like I would like poison, like trying to poison your opponent or like paralyze your opponent as opposed to getting heavy hitters. That was always kind of my style. And so Mr. Mime kind of fit right in that use,
Yeah, he's so cool. The card is super cool. Definitely makes you look at the game in a different way. I'm curious, Devin, what do you think of Mr. Rhyme?
I have no idea. I honestly don't know if you're making that. That sounds like a made-up Pokemon.
Did you know that Mr. Mime evolves now?
We're not talking about. Get out of here with that nonsense. I didn't. Please tell me about Mr. Rhyme.
Mr. Rhyme is Mr. Mime's evolved form. He's an Ice-type Pokemon. He's Mr. Mime, but blue.
Okay, well, clearly Mr. Mime's better.
Kevin, that is a gross oversimplification of Mr. Rhyme, because Mr. Mime but blue is like doing his own thing. Mr. Rhyme he's got a face on his belly. He's got a little cane and he tap dances.
Oh, he
the
does.
whole
I'm sorry,
time
you're
he's
right.
on
He
the
does have
field.
a cane and a hat, and he tap dances.
How did you forget that?
Kevin, you gotta throw a picture
Holy
of
hell.
Mr. Rhyme up.
Holy hell. Okay,
You
so
have to
Colby just sent me the picture of Mr. Rhyme, and my God, this
He
would
has a
have been,
mustache.
if I had known this Pokemon would have existed, it would have been my first choice. I'll just say that. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's oh God, that's stupid. I love
Look
it.
at him. He tap dances the whole time. He's like ta 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 ha cha cha
No,
cha.
I'll throw a picture in the chat for anybody who wants to see Mr. Rhyme.
awful. It's just
Oh my
somebody
yeah.
at Nintendo just hates other people. That's what Mr. Rhyme is.
But yeah, so Mr. Mime would definitely be a pick of mine. Once again, that goes back primarily to the trading card game, and just it was a really cool strategic card that was very useful, and you could just like, it was like oh crap, my opponent is doing really well and has done this evolution, or has this really heavy hitter who can maybe knock out some of my cards with one hit. Let me throw in Mr. Mime and completely neutralize them while I figure out what the hell I'm gonna do to beat them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and plus, I feel like, and this might be a step too far, but of the original 151, I feel like that Mr. Mime is the only Pokemon that I could kiss romantically, like, but it also be ethical. You know what I mean? That it's not like
What
some.
about Ditto?
If Ditto became a Mr. Mime, yeah.
I was gonna say, what about Kadabra? Like that was a that was a teenage boy. Yeah, that's not ethical.
See, but before this draft, I might have said Mewtwo,
Yeah.
but I didn't realize he didn't have a mouth.
No mouth, so you can't. He's
No
not a good
mouth, so you
kisser.
can't kiss him. So I mean, I guess that is a valid point.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he does date Ash's
Peeps raised
mom.
a really good point. I'm pretty sure in the Pokemon anime, Ash's new stepdad is a Mr. Mime because his mom
Yeah.
dates one.
oh my God, that's amazing.
No, I think you are
It's like-
absolutely right on that.
I think
you know why she dates him is because he was in a circus and he was the lazy one. So that's why he went to go be a house dad.
that's so cool. That's really.
Oh man.
I mean, I guess you could also say Jinx, but Jinx has kind of like a problematic history.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, sure.
you would not want to kiss Jinx, is what I'm saying.
There
Yeah.
are multiple reasons you wouldn't want to kiss Jinx.
I'll be honest. All but one of them are the same reason I don't want to kiss Mr. Mime.
Oh, come on.
Mr. Mime, I do think is more kissable than Jinx. Not by a lot.
He's not racist though.
That's his one plus over Jinx. Not racist.
Listen. Of the things I look at my partner, not being racist is a big priority. Is all I'm
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Well,
anyway,
speaking of partners, you got enough space on your roster for one more Pokemon partner, Devin.
okay.
Who's it gonna be? You've got. All right. Let's take a second and look at where we've been with Devin. We've had Lickitung, who I'm surprised you don't want to kiss that thing. Then we've got a half a dozen eggs.
Ethically, thank you,
Ethically.
Shelby. I want
Yeah.
to kiss all of them, but
Obviously.
Yeah, especially Electabuzz. Watch that red lipstick, or maybe don't. He loves the color red. Unclear what that means. Mr. Mime, and then who is gonna be our closer?
Okay. I thought about going with Metapod as a gag, but I'm not going to go with Metapod. I also considered like throwing out, like trying to be like edgy and go with like Missingno or something like that. You know. Also maybe Diglett.
Oh, Diglett's great though.
Diglett?
The
Which-
Alolan Diglett.
Alolan Diglett. All right.
All right. I think who I'm going with though, I'm going to go to like who I feel is a really fan favorite, especially with the early Pokemon. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just me. I'm going to go with Psyduck.
That's a good one.
I'm going to go with Psyduck because like,
Yeah, solid.
and
Aw.
with Psyduck, I think it definitely is not a trading card game pick. It's the TV show, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because like Psyduck was like it was like he was the comic relief, kind of stupid, kind of goofy, but then once it was like pushed to the brink, it just like was awesome. And got the headache, and the eyes would turn purple and just like go ape shit on the opponent. I also have kind of, so I may or may not play D&D with all of you.
That's true.
So I'll have you know that like I would say 99% of the D&D characters I've ever played have been inspired in some way by Psyduck.
I believe that 100%.
And this is like a conscious thing in my head, right? Because I feel like Psyduck, every time it's like thrown in the battle, at least once again in the show when I've experienced it, he's like kind of like half-hearted and confused, and is like intimidated, and also just like I don't know, like what's going on or whatever, and I just love kind of like the dopey in over their head aspect of Psyduck. And like I said, I've like consciously thought about that when I've like
Oh.
in other games or media where I'm like, oh, I love that character. Let me put in somebody who's like just a complete dummy, and just like very inept. And I don't know. I like that. I like that. Yeah, caricature kind of thing. Yeah.
That's a really perfect pick. I like that.
That is a
That's
great
so good.
pick. I love it.
So Psyduck.
All right. And all right, so that
My
wraps
turn?
up Devin's squad. Colby, who is going to be your final pick in the
Okay,
Pokemon
so-
draft?
This goes. I'm gonna go into a little bit of the philosophy of how I've been choosing Pokemon now. I'm 100% using a trope called the 5-man band, where you've got the leader, Blastoise, you've got
Oh,
the
yeah.
Lancer, who is like a foil to your leader, Lucario. If nothing else, Blastoise is cannon, big round. Lucario is spiky and thin.
Yeah.
You got the big guy who's like your tough hitter. That would be Gigalith. You got your smart guy, the clever one, the one that is not super strong but is tricky. I'm gonna count Luxray as that one, but that's
Mm-hmm.
and you got Heart, and I'm gonna use Rillaboom for that because it's a girl in my mind.
Yeah, sure.
And it's grass and it's wholesome and it grows the team.
And it has a drum, so
so-
it's already ready to be in a band.
Exactly. and
Exactly.
and there's something there's another trope, and I'll drop the. You're welcome, chat. There goes the next 5 hours of your life. They've got the 6th Ranger, right, and that's like your token evil, or it can supplant the leader, but I'm gonna use it as a token evil pick, and I'm gonna choose Raticate.
Okay.
Raticate's big
Ooh.
on Team Rocket. Everybody, it'll be the top tier Raticate, mind you. Joey can go off his little Raticate.
So it's like a Rocket Grunts Raticate, not a youngster Joey's Raticate.
Yeah, exactly. But also, I mean, Raticate is just, I mean, it's one of the original 150. It's been kind of in a bunch of games, and it's
Yeah.
been on my team a lot because it's early on. It's pretty strong. You evolve it at level 20, and it's one of, it's not the, but it's one of the fastest evolving Pokemon that you can reasonably get and attain. You can
Yep.
pretty much count on having Eradicate by the 2nd gym if you grind a pretty good day. You can definitely have one by the 3rd gym. But also, as a kid, I had a ton. I've still got a ton of figurines, and as a kid, you get really imaginative, you get really into something. And I had a little Eradicate figurine, and I would carry it to school with me, and I would train it. I would give it little, I would wash it and give it little baths. I'd make it run around little tracks. So I bonded really heavily with Eradicate. And I may or may not play D&D as well. And one of my NPCs is a ranger, and he has a little rat, and it has grown into a giant rat. And it's essentially it's Eradicate. So that's. Yeah, Eradicate's very near. It's ugly as sin, but it's very near and dear to my heart.
See, I actually really like the trading card game art of Raticate.
Oh,
I
yeah.
always thought
Here,
I always
let
thought
me
it was
see.
really cool, honestly.
Yeah. So the thing that rekindled my interest. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's such a good
Yeah.
one. The
I
thing.
like the pastel kind of grass.
Yes, exactly. The background is very cool. Yeah.
it's a very nice background.
That's
uh,
also one of my I like this kind of like the trope mentality for it, because it's not just here's my favorites. It's like like if they were a team, if they were like in the wild, and they all met up together, this is how they would interact
Aw.
with each other.
The squad. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That's a really good one. All right, and that brings it down to me, and I'm really stuck on this last pick. There are 4 Pokemon I really want. I'm gonna pick an electric type Pokemon for sure for my last pick. I'm really torn between two. Are we... All right. I'm going to pick a Pokemon that is often overlooked, and it really sucks because by picking this Pokemon, I'm not picking a Pokemon that I really, really like. But this is just such a good story. I feel like I have to pick this Pokemon. I am picking Pachirisu, who you probably don't even know.
I don't.
So ever since when Pokemon first came out, Pikachu was the the mascot for Pokemon, right? This cute little electric mouse that everybody loved and was very merchandisable, right? And every generation since then has tried to make its own version of Pikachu. Pachirisu is the Generation 4 version of that. He is claimed to be a pretender to the throne. Well, just wait.
Emolga, though.
Just wait, because I'm going to tell you a story about Pachirisu that was the inspiration for me to want to do this draft, and I feel like it would be disingenuous to not pick this Pokemon after being so inspired by its story. So Pachirisu came out in Generation 4. I'm talking a lot about competitive Pokemon. I talked about the tier list. Pachirisu started off in NU, the never used tier, because it was really bad. Pachirisu has terrible stats. Pachirisu has no useful abilities. Pachirisu sucks. And when PU came out, Pachirisu has the dubious honor of being one of the first Pokemon inducted into the tier of literally unplayable Pokemon that no one would ever look at. But it had one moment in the sun where it shined so bright. I was so excited about it. I'm going to tell you the story of VGC, which is the 2-on-2 Pokemon battling format, the World Championship in 2014, where Pachirisu went from being a Pokemon that literally every time a new low tier came out got demoted to that tier to being a world champion literally overnight. So here's how it happened. First, let's talk a little bit about what 2014 Pokemon was like. This was the year where Mega Pokemon were first introduced. So you not only did you have a team format, but you had Pokemon that were already super strong, like Gengar, like Mega Kangaskhan was a monster. Mewtwo got a Mega form. All Blastoise, Venusaur, Charizard all got Mega forms that were super strong. Like Pokemon were stronger than they had ever been. There's a thing though that Pachirisu got in that generation. It had the ability pickup, which let it pick up items, and that was useless. But it had a hidden ability called Vault Absorb. And Vault Absorb was important because it let you heal if you got hit with an electric attack. Alright, so stick with me here because we're going to follow through a bunch of steps that lead to Pachirisu secretly being perfect. So, there's a concept in doubles called having a redirector Pokemon. A Pokemon who will use moves to make sure that it gets hit, right? Now, Pachirisu is not a good redirector because it dies in one hit to everything. It's very bad. Not like Shinja dies in one hit. Pachirisu actually dies in one hit. So the most popular redirector was a Pokemon called Amoonguss, who's a weird fungus, and he did this thing called Rage Powder that made you attack him. Now, because of Rage Powder, and Amoonguss has really good stats and a lot of other abilities other than Rage Powder that are all considered good. So it was a top tier Pokemon, and it was so good. This is the level of depth that people went to determine that this squirrel was good. Is that people would equip an item to their Pokemon called Safety Goggles, which meant they couldn't get hit by powder or spore moves, right? So they couldn't get Sun Spore, Sleep Powder, Rage Powder, any of those. Your Pokemon wearing Safety Goggles was immune to it, right? So the top two offensive threats in that format were Mega Gyarados, who Gyarados is already super strong. Mega Gyarados is one of the strongest physical attackers in the entire game, even still, super nasty. And Talonflame. Those are both flying type Pokemon, right? Now, Pachirisu has a move called Follow Me, which works just like Rage Powder, except instead of making you attack it, it takes an attack that's directed towards somebody else. And what it would do is it would use Follow Me to try to grab things like Raikou shooting Thunderbolt at these things like Gyarados, who are 8 times weak to electricity. So it would try to grab those abilities. But because they were using Pachirisu instead of Amoonguss, their Talonflame and their Gyarados didn't have to wear safety goggles. So they got a 1-up. Their attackers got to use an attack item instead of defense item to push them a little bit further ahead of the metagame. The other thing is so people would try to counter redirectors by using a move called Taunt, because that's when you find strategy, you find the next strategy to mess with that, and that's the way Doubles is entirely based. So Taunt makes you use a damaging move. Well, Pachirisu doesn't have any damaging moves except for 2. It only can learn 2. Super Fang, which if it hits, which a taunted move will always hit, cuts a Pokemon's HP in half. And that's kind of scary, considering Pachirisu could never do that much damage to anything. And the other is a move called Nuzzle. Nuzzle is, it gives you a hug, it does almost no damage, and it paralyzes you. And a paralyzed Pokemon always goes last. So Pachirisu was out there snatching lightning out of the sky and then paralyzing people if they tried to deal with it. Like, it was so many levels ahead of where everybody else was thinking that Pachirisu became a world champion, and then other people tried to use it. It turns out it really sucks. But just for that one day, it was awesome, and it was super legendary, and it was only good one time and has never been good again. And it's because somebody looked at literally everything that was happening and all of the way that people were thinking about Pokemon, and that's been a theme in my Pokemon that I've picked. Someone looked at the entire way people were thinking about this game and said, well, I can find the one thing that doesn't have to play by these rules, and that's Pachirisu, and I think it's so cool and made me really excited to talk about it. That's probably more than this Pokemon deserves to be talked about, but that's Pachirisu.
No, that's really cool. That's really neat. Yeah. It goes back to what I was saying about a couple of mine, just like with the very like strategic element of them, you know, that like gives them a usefulness that may be overlooked, and I think that's really cool. Yeah.
So Shelby, you have been patiently waiting to bring our draft to a close. You seem so excited. Tell
I am
us,
so excited.
Who is your final pick?
This one, I was a little bit worried that someone might pick because it's amazing. And I have also been thinking very strategically about all of my Pokemon, and especially this one. But it's Snorlax.
Oh, that's such a good one.
The most huggable one. He's the biggest, and he's lazy, and you can just, it's like the Pokemon Totoro.
Yes.
And he's, I love him so much. And he's just, his little sprites like are having a hard time standing up. And he just, he makes a big beanbag or a big pillow. Oh, he's so great. I love Snorlax.
I love like in the games how you have like trees in the way and all this kind of stuff in the way, and then there's just like a Snorlax lying in the middle of the road that you can't get by. It's very funny.
Just chilling. Like, look at him. He's just chilling right there. He's just living his life, like just like sleeping. I just want to just lay on his tummy and just take a nap, just like he's doing. I love Snorlax so much. I got every Pokemon that I wanted to. This draft went great for me.
That's a really good one. Yeah, Snorlax was also on my list. A super great Pokemon. Just a big old boy.
I was worried. That one I was a little worried that someone else might like him as much as I like him.
Have you seen Gigantamax Snorlax?
No, I haven't. Hold on, I'm about to.
He's so big, he has a town on his belly. He's just like asleep, and someone like built a village on top of his stomach. of like a giant
Whoa.
Snorlax.
Oh, look it! He's just napping.
Oh my god, it's incredible.
Oh, he's trying to get up.
What I love
Oh.
about Snorlax is in like he had a whole like episode or two in the anime dedicated to just having a case of the Mondays of just not wanting to wake up, and then when he does, he just goes and eats a whole river, right?
Yeah.
And then
Like,
he's also in
relatable.
Pokemon Snap, and he's like one of the best parts because you have to wait until like the end of the game to like get him with the Pokeflea. It's great.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
I love Pokemon. I love Snorlax.
That's such a good pick. Well, all
And that's
right,
it.
guys. That does it for the first draft I've done on this channel. I think it was super fun. I had a really great time talking about
Yeah,
the
me too.
Pokemon.
Awesome.
I really appreciate you guys coming on. Anything you guys want to plug, advertise? Obviously, we're still going to be live for another 10 and a half hours. We've got a lot of stuff going on still on the stream. But anything you guys want to talk about, because you're not expected to be live for another 10 and a half hours.
Go listen to Critical Bits. Critical Bits and other Critical Bits related franchises. Critical Pits, my Olive podcast, just had some olives a second ago. We've done a couple, just did some appearances on Omencast and Ballad of the Seven Dice. But yeah, look at those, and everybody listen to Critical Bits. But otherwise, I don't know. Just good Pokemon.
Everyone go check out. I have a podcast with Kevin.
Yeah.
It's called Tokyo Driftcast. It's it's actually coming out this next summer.
Yeah, coming out
check
this
out
summer.
episode 7, especially when it comes out this summer. So it's a good one. We have some really great guests, and basically it's the I almost said the penultimate. That's not at all what I meant.
It's the actual ultimate Tokyo Drift podcast.
It's the ultimate. It's the ultimate. Maybe it's the penultimate. I don't know. It's the ultimate Tokyo Drift podcast. So check it out. Yeah.
I have nothing to plug. I have literally no social media friends. So.
Colby's really cool. Colby's really cool. Everyone, just enjoy Colby as a person. He's great.
Yeah,
Oh
cherish
yeah,
this.
for sure. That's 100% true. Man, there's so many more. I don't know about you guys. There's so many more Pokemon I could have picked that I would still be excited about. This
man.
was super fun.
I have so many. I can't believe the ones. I'm going to give you the ones that I almost picked but I didn't. Galarian Ponyta, Snom, Chinchino, Shaman, Tepig, and Bidoof. Those are my like second grouping, and then I have like 8 more. Ugh, they're all so good.
I really wanted Nidoking, and I was gonna pick Vileplume, Swampert, and Corviknight, and Golem and Bolton. I've got a whole.
Yeah.
Those were like my like runners up.
Ninetales, Snorlax, and Pancham were all on my list.
Got him.
So were Surfetch'd. I'm surprised didn't go.
Oh yeah.
So much good stuff.
I had Vileplume was also on mine, Colby, because very cool. Also had Hitmonlee. I had Primeape was on mine. Yeah.
I think I remember the Vileplume card. It was just like it was like what like a it's like an angled view of just like the flower, right?
Yeah, you couldn't even see the cute face. I think you're exactly right, Colby. It just looked like a flower. Yeah.
See, I love Vileplume because that's the one where it's got like that image where Vileplume is just like had that blank stare, and it's like what Kevin, you know.
There's a great picture. I'll see if I can find it. But it's just
That's so good,
it's a
that's
bunch
so
of Pokemon. Like they look like they're all getting ready to like make a brave last stand in something. And Vileplume is just standing, arms
Vileplume.
straight down by its side, looking right at the camera, no expression on its face. And someone zoomed in on that, and the caption is, "When you thinking about risking it all."
see, I really love that evolution because Oddish is adorable.
Yeah.
Vileplume, when you see Vileplume's face, Vileplume is also adorable and has a beautiful thing. And then you have Gloom.
Gloom.
Who is
Gloom is
it's like the awkward teenage years. It's just like a hideous Pokemon. But on either side of it, it's
So the funny thing is that like the flower part of Vileplume, that top part, is like it's like a raffle or something, but it's like one of the most disgusting plants that has ever. I'm pretty sure it smells like rotting.
it does. I think you're exactly right. I think,
which is why
but
it's like called vile, you know.
but it has this cute little face underneath. But you're right, that's what it was meant to be. Is that the one that I think it does smell like?
I didn't learn about that until Animal Crossing because I just didn't pick weeds, and like bioplumes started like showing up around my town. I was like, what is this?